night that I first met Paul. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was dark, really humid. It was the night of our greatest victory. What night was that? The night of the big race. There we were, neck and neck, swimming faster and harder than we ever had. This wasn't just any little race. It was us against millions. I had my moments of doubt, but Paul just would not let me quit. Come on, man! We're almost there! I'm not gonna let you die here! If it weren't for Paul, I wouldn't be here today. He pushed me to see that goal and go for it. He never let me give up. Over the next few months, we hung out in our room getting to know each other. Everything was a healthy competition between us, whether it be who developed an arm first or who got served first at dinner time. But the ultimate competition arose after 9 months, when it finally came time for us to leave our cushy haven and head out into the world to make it big. I beat him to the door, ready to make my escape, when all of a sudden he cheats and goes out through the belly. I guess I can't be too upset about what happened. I mean, we both ended up out in the real world together, given the gift of life, with our goals and dreams out in front of us. Right from the get-go, we weren't like every other set of twins. You know, the ones that are forced to be the same. Our parents never dressed us alike, but instead always wanted us to be our own people. We couldn't help it though. We were the same person. When we were about 6 or 7, we wanted to join a sports team like our friends. Our parents always encouraged our interests, so they signed us up for a house league soccer team. But they took us off the team pretty soon after when instead of chasing soccer balls, we wanted to chase butterflies and chase bugs and pick flowers. The years went on and our family grew. And throughout our childhoods, Paul and I always looked out for each other, whether it be keeping each other from blowing away during a tornado on the way to school, or saving each other from the wrath of my mom's spoon. One of my lamest memories of Paul's and my relationship would definitely be after we watched our first horror movie together. We could not handle being scared. We knew it wasn't real, we didn't think some deranged murderer was going to come in and kill us, but for some reason we laid in our beds and shook uncontrollably in sheer terror. Our bodies would not stop shaking. Our muscles were actually sore from convulsing in fear. So what would we do? We'd stay up all night and try and remember the entire movie of The Little Mermaid. We'd recite it till the sun came up, or until we stopped shaking. I told you we were lame. As time passed, Paul and I did end up growing more independent of each other, making our own friends and following our own paths. I focused all my talents and dreams on the visual arts, whereas Paul spent most of his time working on the performing arts. After seeing our older sister Julianne perform in a community theater production, Paul caught the bug and he started performing around town as well. And this is where he met Cheyenne. The funny thing is though, I was actually the one that instantly had a massive crush on Cheyenne. But anyway, during the next few months, Paul was cast in the musical Oliver, where he worked very closely with Cheyenne. It didn't take long for them to become really good friends and start hanging out together literally all the time. I still thought Cheyenne was hot, and I don't know why she chose Paul, but I digress. The two of them were struck by Cupid, and the rest is history. They were inseparable for about 3 years. But like most high school romances, it came time for Paul and Cheyenne to say goodbye to each other for a little while. Years passed, seasons changed. Paul and Cheyenne acted like great friends, but there were always those feelings there. They kept their feelings for each other tucked away as to keep their friendship from getting too awkward. Their feelings remained hidden so deep. All they wanted was each other. They had to hide their burning, passionate desire for each other until their bodies were aching for each other. They were just so exhausted from keeping it in. How their bodies longed for each other! Shut up! Until finally they couldn't take it anymore and they gave in to their wants and needs, and with a little help of some tequila and with beautiful Cancun, Mexico as the backdrop, Paul and Cheyenne were back together. The relationship has continued to blossom and grow in all the ways that relationships do. I'm so glad to see him with someone that is always challenging him. She never allows her lives to get too boring or become too routine. Cheyenne is the queen of keeping things interesting, and she is always encouraging Paul to see the world and experience new things. They both have the same interests, and they're always doing things together that they both enjoy. Even though we all know that's what all relationships are supposed to be, it's not always the case. They really can teach everyone a thing or two about keeping relationships fresh and exciting. As for Paul and I, we are as alike as ever. And oddly enough, the older we get, the more we even look alike. Also, the more and more we think alike. Our interests, our passions, and even our jobs have grown to be so much alike, it's scary. And even though I'm not around as much anymore, Even though I live exactly 4,040 miles away in a completely different country, even though we both have different people in our lives now that are taking care of us and loving us, I feel closer to you and love you more than I have since we left Mommy's tummy that dark and faithful night so long ago. And I genuinely feel blessed that I get to pass the torch of who gets to look out for you to Cheyenne. I think it's her turn to sit up with you all hours of the night and sing The Little Mermaid. Congratulations, guys. Oh, and when he was 17, him and his best friend Kevin put Jurassic Park masks on and chased each other around the front yard.